Okay, welcome to Meet Your Monsters. If your favorite romantic comedy is the one where Agent Starling falls in love with the sweet prison doctor, then this is the podcast for you. My name is Abram Aiken. These are my friends.
Kathleen.
Matt.
Colby.
Sarah.
Almost said Colby.
Well, it usually goes in that other order. We all switch seats, so it's messed up.
And Earl Campbell is here in spirit.
Earl Campbell and Bo Jackson
heart.
are here in spirit. How is everybody doing today? Anybody got anything exciting going on? Anybody going to New West Fest tomorrow? I know you are.
I know you are.
I am.
Somebody's going to be promoting their book there.
Mm-hmm. And I
So if you
picture...
listen to us 3 months from now, like, oh, I missed it.
Start over.
I picture me at a table with a trash bag over my rain-soaked comics and everybody walking by laughing at me. That's how I picture tomorrow going.
Oh, it's
There'll be
outside?
some mothers shielding their children, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of children growing up tomorrow seeing their first boobs.
Some angry parents that are mad at me because my book's full of nudity and their kids are looking through it and I'm not stopping them.
No refunds!
There's only one boob scene in your comic.
Yeah,
But
that's
they're
true. That's
beautiful.
true. Thank you.
There's a lot of
Sweet rat.
there's some sweet old man.
Hey, I wanted to ask you guys, just out of curiosity, did anybody read the sketchbook?
No, I didn't.
Did it? No?
Uh-huh.
Did anybody figure out the little clue that I mentioned?
Oh no, I forgot to look for it.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
I didn't.
No big deal. Just something to think of. Because I was drawing something today that had to do with that, and I went, I wonder if anybody noticed that, but that's okay. It's still out there. That's
Did you, listeners? Did you get a sketch?
Anybody? No.
Tell us.
Tell us on the Facebook page.
I know by the number that I've sold that no one has. Anyway, for you at home, Meet Your Monsters is a podcast in which I show my friends horror movies that I love, and we find out if they love them too, or if they just think my movies suck. This week's movie was the 2013 Oculus, written by Mike Flanagan and Jeff Howard, directed by Mike Flanagan. This movie is starring Karen Gillian, Brenton Thwaites, Katie Sackhoff, Rory Cochrane, Annalise Basso, and Garrett Ryan. What?
It's a dirty cast list. What was it? Sackhoff
Sackhoff and Cochrane.
Peter North.
So I saw this movie, and Kathleen and I went to the theater and saw it just last summer. And I didn't have the slightest clue what it was about, and the previews weren't all that revealing, and I just fucking loved it. What did you guys think of the movie?
Oh, it's really good.
It's amazing. It was very good.
It was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I knew you'd like it
Yeah.
because I said it's real thought out. It's good.
Like,
I really liked it.
man, you're right. The
That's
trailer.
the first shining review Matt's ever given.
Really, it is for this podcast.
Yeah.
This is my favorite movie watched so far.
Yeah, it was awesome.
The trailer did not do it justice because I've seen the
bitch.
trailer. I didn't give a fuck about the trailer.
Yeah, because I saw the trailer too, and I told Kathleen, like, well, there's nothing really playing.
Yeah, I was like, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
I'll wait till it comes out on DVD.
Yeah, but it was a fucking good movie.
Good movie.
It was surprisingly good.
Yeah, and
But WWE Studio puts out quality production.
Oh,
Yeah.
I really
There's
liked
storylines.
that. What was that Kane
See
movie?
No
See No
Evil?
Evil. I thought
Have
that
you
shit was
seen
cool.
The Chaperone starring Triple H.
I just watched the horror movies.
Oh, it's a
Wonderful.
horror movie.
Heartwarming, family-friendly comedy.
I'm done with Triple H ever since Blade 3.
Oh, I just
Although I
got
did like-
started
That
on
was my
Triple H.
first taste there.
Oh, he was in that. God, we should do Blade 3. It's
I
No,
so
we should
good.
not.
I did
Love
like
him.
the vampire poodle.
Pomeranian.
Pomeranian.
Because he had the little metal teeth, right?
Uh-huh.
Aha, so good.
Yeah.
Back on track.
Yeah, this movie, it definitely... I'm glad to see that it got good reviews, but I don't know anyone else that has seen it.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Nobody
it was a
would
great,
see it, I don't
great
think,
fucking
unless
movie.
it's... Because it didn't hit the Conjuring crowd where people are like, ooh, that might be
Yeah.
kind
Well,
of ghosty.
I bet part of
And-
the problem was too, it's like WWE, like
But they
probably
weren't-
don't know
they
how to
didn't-
promote
They weren't in
movies.
promoting
I didn't even
it.
know it was
That's
a
what I
WWE
mean. Like,
movie.
I don't think they really knew what they were doing in promoting it. Because I'm sure for what we got promoted properly, it would have been. Because those horror movies always
But
do really
they're-
well at the box office.
Yeah.
Well, let me say, if anyone is
Paranormal
listening
Activity.
10 years from now, if this podcast is dead, but this is still on YouTube, fucking watch this movie. It's really good.
It's
Very
Plus,
good.
like, they had Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, she's
And what was the
so-
main girl's name? Karen?
Is it Jillian?
Jillian something.
She was in Doctor Who.
She's Doctor Who, so they should have
Amy
had those
Pond.
fans built into it just
Yeah.
because people want to
And
see it.
as said before, she was in Guardians of the Galaxy. She was Ronan's girlfriend. What was her name?
She shaved her head.
I think I'm,
Nebula or something?
Nebula.
Yeah,
Nebula.
Nebula,
Yeah, she shaved her head.
She shaved her head
She's
for
got
it,
a
so she's
beautiful shaved
dedicated.
head.
I think I'm saying her name wrong because it's Gillan. Is that just Jillian?
Jillian?
Gillan,
They
maybe?
apologize,
Yeah.
Miss Gillen.
Yeah. She's going to listen to this and be so
Yeah.
offended.
I really like this movie, and so I would like to get her name correct. As where some of those other movies we watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiefer
I like 'em.
Sutherland.
Well, I suppose we can just go right into the sinister synopsis, and I will give you the.
Oh, you gotta meet the monster?
Oh yes, good. We're changing it up this
It's
time.
a good thing I started running this podcast.
There's a lot going on that side.
We're changing it up, and we're gonna introduce the monster. Next week I'll have cool segment names, but for this week we're doing it like we used to do. So yeah. So
The
what do you got
monster
for us?
in this movie is a haunted object, which is a mirror, the Lasser mirror,
I believe
named
so.
after the first victim, George Lasser, maybe. And pretty much you look at it, you own it, you hang it up, and it's gonna kill you
Make you
in
go
one way or
crazy.
another.
Yeah,
They make you go
possess
crazy.
you.
Will make you go be dehydrated in a full bathtub.
Here's the thing I loved
Kill
about
your
that
dog.
too. No explanation as to how it became
Oh my
that
god,
way.
how great
Yeah.
is
And I
that?
love that because like it's always so fucking stupid when they try to explain. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's it. That's all that happened, and now it's a
The
haunted
sequels
mirror.
will explain it all, and you'll
Yeah.
be upset about it.
And another thing that was so cool about, like, this movie was so good that halfway through the movie, I said to Kathleen, "This is fucking awesome," which is so rare because usually you
Yeah.
just
I
watch
was
the movie normally. She said, "You have popcorn in your mouth."
Stop spitting on me.
But yeah, okay, so this is a difficult movie for us to recap because it's got a parallel narrative where it's telling the story. The story starts off with the younger brother getting out of what essentially is a psych ward because of what happened when he was a kid, and the sister recruiting him to help kill this haunted mirror that ruined their family. Where it's difficult for us to recap is that they tell both stories at the same time, so we have to kind of jump around a bit.
We call it a
start-
mirror maze.
Really? Oh, that's actually
That's
really
spectacular,
clever.
isn't it?
See, they put some thought
Oh,
into this
yeah?
into
Yeah.
this movie.
Wait.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the movie starts off, like I said, with the younger brother Tim getting out of this psych ward where he has been committed for killing their father. Something we don't know the details. We just know that the mother was murdered by the father, and then the father was killed by the son.
Which is pretty much all you need to know about that.
Sure.
I mean, you can do the
It
details,
was
but
really smart the way they did that
I
too. 'cause
loved
just
it.
like
it was
like the actual like present timeline would have been a boring ass movie because it was just them kind of running around this house getting confused. But the way it kept flashing back and like unfolding, the more you watch, you're like, oh, that's what they're talking about.
And I've always heard you don't do two storylines together, like action in action. You know, like you're supposed to just do one. You know, and they pieced together, so it just felt like one big story because they kept cutting back, and they thought they were seeing their past, but they were just hallucinating. And
Yeah. It really told both stories really well at the same time, and when it was all done, it was one story. It was really fantastic. And it's not original. If you ever read the book he does the exact same thing. Stephen King is a fucking wizard, and he does the exact same thing. He tells the first story is when they fight the clown as children, and the second story is when they fight the clown as adults. So this isn't like a new thing, but it's
it
still
was
really
done
well done.
The movie was not done as well.
Yeah.
Well, they're
Oculus.
remaking it, so we got that to look forward to.
But
Oculus?
without, I mean, without the one actor playing it, though, I don't know. If it
Tim
would be-
Curry?
Yeah, Tim
Yeah.
Curry. Come
He'll
on.
still do it.
He better.
What else is he
He's still
doing?
alive.
You know, that clown is so scary and crazy that even though Tim Curry was amazing, I would love to see what somebody else could do.
Here's a fun fact to our
Who?
listeners at home: if you've seen it, that was Tim Curry's real hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gross.
that
Tim
is
Curry.
dedication, man.
That's awesome.
You know what sucks? Like when he went home and like he was like at a restaurant, he had this fucking big poof of hair sticking out of the back.
He probably was.
Yeah, it was the 80s.
Okay, so
It rained a lot wherever he was.
so we see the now young woman Kaylee, as her brother is getting out of the hospital. She's watching the mirror in an auction, and someone has purchased it, and we find out that she has essentially manipulated this sale so that it would go through the auction house where she works, so that she could get her hands on it because she wants revenge. How fucking awesome is that?
Yeah, that's pretty
That
cool.
she's trying to get revenge on this thing that essentially...
Well, and it wasn't all just revenge. She wanted to prove that her brother wasn't crazy and her dad
Yeah.
wouldn't do something like that.
Yeah, she's trying to prove that what happened to her family wasn't because her family was messed up, but because they were victimized.
Yeah.
And that was amazing story. There's, it was like the part in Dracula where they all figured out what they were after and they got together to try to kill it. Only this is how the movie started.
Yeah.
And you go, man, this is awesome.
We're talking about Dracula the book, because Dracula movie, that shit didn't happen at all.
It kind of did, but we'll talk about the book since we're conflicted on the movie. And so she takes her brother, she gets the mirror, and she takes her brother to the house, and she set up all these, essentially a giant trap for the mirror. And so she's got timers to tell her when to eat and drink in case the mirror's fucking with her, and she's got a fail-safe where this giant anchor will come and smash the mirror if she doesn't reset this timer. And she's got cameras everywhere and lights set up, and she's ready to do battle with this mirror, and she is fucked.
Yeah.
There's no way to say it. She never stood a chance. It's
But,
fantastic.
I mean,
But it did open up for a great info dump where she's just telling the
yeah,
whole backstory
one of the best
of it.
exposition scenes I've
Right.
ever seen.
Absolutely, because while we, the audience, were learning about it, she was telling it to the brother who was there to help
Yeah.
her.
If
And
we-
he was on the opposite side. He was now convinced that they made the whole thing up, and so they had to really try to convince each other who was right and who was wrong.
Yeah.
And it was great. Like, it worked really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if like all the other places, production company, all that stuff passed on it, and like, WWE is like, yeah, we made this shit with Kane and Triple H, and it's also like, this is a fucking good movie and nobody's making it. Like, we got to make this.
Well, it's definitely connected to the WWE. Hopefully somebody will explain it, because I know there's a connection there that I don't see. I don't know if anyone's got that trivia.
Kathleen's got some trivia.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
I'm like, you just built it up, and I'm about to.
That's okay,
Smash the
even
dream.
whatever it is, but even by itself, because I just assumed it was unrelated and that they just produced it, but it was.
Well, and even if it has nothing to do with wrestling and they're start making movies that aren't wrestling related, like, what a great idea! Like,
Yeah.
they're putting out a good product so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, I was super impressed with this one. Well, anyway, so once they're trying, the sister's trying to convince the brother that that the mirror is what they saw as children, and he's trying to convince her that it was all in their heads and that they made it up. And what I thought was a stroke of genius too is, just as he convinces her that he's right and that she should just relax and was crazy, then it kind of woke up and
Yeah.
started to do its creepy thing.
Did you think he really convinced her, or did she just
Well, she
break down?
was about ready to go home. She was about ready to call it quits. And I think that
Because the dog was okay.
the dog was okay, the plants were okay, and he had been, and because that's why when she looked in the room, she was going to go turn the cameras off, and she said, "Ha!"
And that was another brilliant
They
moment. We'll get
took-
back to that for the themes and tropes.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
took one of my most hated things in movies, is dogs getting killed, and totally, like, they didn't do it. They let the dog out of the door, and I was like, all right, this movie's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it fed enough to wake up the mirror.
Yeah.
Because the mirror was kind of dormant, and then the dog, being I guess in proximity to the mirror, came. It brought it back to life, and pretty much that was a done deal for.
Yeah.
But
And it was a sweet little Boston Terrier.
yeah. And
So,
so
a French bulldog.
No, it was a Boston Terrier.
And so the same time that all this is happening, we're getting pieces of their encounter as children, and they've got the house, they're bringing in the furniture, they bring in this mirror that he got from some, auction or something, and you can see that right away anyone who's around that mirror is starting to get a little messed up. He's pulling off his fingernails.
Well, and their fears are showing. Like, she's, for some reason, never explained that he's really paranoid he's going to cheat on her, or that she thinks she's ugly,
well,
old, and...
the kids see...
Everyone's hearing voices.
Well, at the beginning, she's just like, oh, you're going to leave me? Or like her C-section scar. And
everything that she was
feed on it.
self-conscious about,
They
she would,
feed on it.
yeah. And I thought that was great too, because the nature of the creature was that it turns your senses against you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it makes you do things by thinking you're not doing them or that you are doing them, and you just, if you can't trust the voices you hear, you can't trust the things you smell or see. You know, it was just really a cool creature, if you can call it a creature.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Oh man, another big kudos to them is for them not making it a found footage film.
Yeah,
Thank God.
It could have easily been that,
Yeah.
and it would have been awful.
You know what the worst thing about those found footage movies, the thing I can't stand about them, is that they always have to, like, there always has to be some scene where they're, like, explaining to some person, like, oh, I just look into your camera, and like, yeah, we're just filming this. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that in a movie. I don't want to know, like, what's going on behind the camera. I'm watching in weeks. I want to be entertained.
Yeah, I was like, you like the Blair
Yeah,
Witch.
okay,
You're about
I
to
take that
throw
back.
down.
The Blair Witch
What
Project
Phoenix
was
was
fucking
it?
incredible.
Blair Witch. Okay, I think the first time it really happened was Cannibal Holocaust,
Ooh.
which we'll probably never do
I
here
know,
on
I
the
Please
was-
counter.
God, no.
I'd rather
Yeah,
not.
that's a different level
Yeah,
of
when
movie.
you said I wasn't allowed to watch that
Yeah.
one,
We would all be in tears if we watched it. I've seen it at the theater, and it was.
Here's a
a
fun
hell of a
story
movie.
about Abe and I. When we first met, we worked together. And I can't remember. No, he was going to let me borrow it, but he let somebody else borrow it first. And he kept telling me that I should watch it, but like I shouldn't watch it. I remember I got it with Netflix. That was back when I had the DVD subscription. That DVD sat in a little sleeve on top of my DVD player for like a month. And I was like, fuck it, I can't watch it. I'm sending it back.
Aw, good.
Good for you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody, we were in the break room at work, and somebody brought it up, and it was like, "Oh, that movie's fucked up, man."
Yeah, it's a jacked up movie, but it was one of the first found footage movies that I know of, and then no one did it for a long time until Blair Witch, and God, it made $100 million. A $28,000 movie made $100 million. It was amazing.
Well, that was just an amazing PR campaign too.
Yeah.
Like, it's real
Yeah.
footage.
Like, they had the history of the Blair Witch, but they showed it on the Sci-Fi Channel. So people were like, "Oh my God, this
The
shit's
Sci-Fi
real."
Channel was not as legit as
Yeah. People go, "Oh my God, this
Sharknado.
really happened," but it was
They
on the
just can't
Sci-Fi
happen,
Channel.
guys. They can't.
Well, the fiction's right in the title of the channel.
Terror
It's a
Reform,
science
isn't it?
fiction channel.
Yeah, but apparently people didn't quite get that. And like you said, the way they did it, they actually hung up posters of themselves.
They were on a
missing and things like
website,
that.
some missing person's
Yeah.
website. They were actually.
God
on
damn it, movie was
Yeah.
good.
But anyway, back to the other good
sorry.
movie that was
Back to
awesome.
Yeah, I was just as good.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I would-
Yeah, like you were saying though, it could have easily been a found footage, and I'm glad they didn't, because I'm sick of those things.
Although-
That's more gripe about that is, like, with those found footage movies, you'll find that they get really lazy towards the end, and you'll find, if you look, there's camera angles that can't possibly happen, like there's camera
Yeah.
switches,
Yeah.
where there had to be a second camera,
Yeah,
and they just don't give a fuck.
and you can't help but say at some point, "Just drop the camera,
Yeah.
you dumbass." But
That's-
I've never seen Paranormal Activity, but I remember my dad went and saw it, and he came and found me, like, he was talking to me about it, and he goes, the whole time I was like, just leave the fucking house.
But it didn't matter if they left the house. Have you seen Paranormal Activity?
No, I still haven't seen it.
Let's see, I almost.
Another great thing about this movie too is they do everything that you would do. They tried to leave the house. They tried to go outside for help. They contacted other people. They called the police very early on.
Yeah.
and one of the greatest scenes was when the guy said, "Why don't we just smash it?" And she said, "Go ahead."
Yeah.
And he couldn't.
Yeah.
And this was cool because the mirror essentially talked him out of disarming or talked him out of smashing it, and then he proceeded to talk her out of any of it. And up until the thing started reacting, she was on board.
Although I gotta
That's
say,
great.
I wish like they would have like some special feature you could have watched all the camera stuff, because I would have loved to see what was happening like the whole time they were seeing shit. They showed that
What was
scene,
actually happening?
and they show that scene where they're like where they were arguing, and then she watched it again on the computer, and as they were arguing, they were turning the cameras away and like moving the plans and
Yeah.
shit. And I'm like, I would love to see what's
And
going
that
on the
was-
whole time.
That actually made it scarier. Like, if they just moved on their own, they'd have been like, oh. But, like, it's scary that they had no idea what they were
Yeah.
doing.
because essentially they weren't in control of their own bodies. They couldn't see what they were actually seeing. They couldn't experience what they were actually experiencing.
I applaud her efforts, but why do you think technology is going to change that? Why do you think they can't just manipulate the technology?
And they did. They talked through the phones.
Yeah, girl.
They messed up.
No.
And so at one point she's looking through her phone to see where the illusion ends, and it betrays her and makes her kill her fiance. Because she sees it and she thinks it's her mom, and she stabs him, and in fact it's her fiance, which who knows. But yeah, it was fantastic. Anyway, so once the mirror starts to wake up, they're just fucked. Like it totally takes over their experience of life, like everything that they can do. Like she thinks she's eating an apple, but she's actually biting through a light bulb. But then she's not really biting through a light bulb.
You know what's fucked up?
It wasn't even gory. That was rough to watch.
They did the two things that just freaked me out more than anything is fucking fingernails and mouths. Like I can't. And like when she was pulling out her teeth, like when her mom was crazy and pulling out her teeth and like eating the plate. Oh, fucking skeeved me out.
One of the things, and I even wrote this down to make sure I mentioned it, was after she bites the light bulb, she's holding it away from her mouth, and it's actually the camera is behind her head looking into the light bulb with the bite taken out of it, and all of a sudden these tiny little red specks start showing up on the bulb because she's exhaling blood. And I went, damn, that's awesome. You know, because you would be, most movies would just have blood gush everywhere. That's what I would do because I'm lazy, you know.
And then she reached in and pulled a big piece of glass out. It's just covered in blood. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah. But it was potent but subtle.
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean,
and then it didn't even happen. And it worked. It worked because usually,
You know what I didn't like about this movie is I tried to write down jokes in my notes and I couldn't do it. Like I've got jokes here, but I don't want to make them because they're so good. Like I don't want to say anything mean about this movie.
It was one of the rare movies where we were all quiet because it was good. It was
good. You wanted to see what happened next. Like I was really like interested to see what was going to happen.
Yeah. So as the story progresses, you find out that they're completely at the mercy of this thing, and it's pretty much doing whatever it wants, and it's using them to shield itself from the harm, from the traps that she set. So like they will find themselves standing in front of the trap right as the timer's about to go off, and then kind of come to their senses and go, oh shit, that thing about killed me.
Was that a big anchor?
Yeah.
So it swings like from the ceiling and would impale it.
Yeah. And so it was essentially hypnotizing them in order to save its own ass, which is fantastic because it doesn't have any arms or legs, but it was a formidable villain. Yeah. And it you got a sense, okay, like initially you see this mysterious woman kind of hanging out in there, and it looks like, you know, maybe she's the culprit. But then as the story goes on, all of its victims are in there. So you never know like what it was exactly that's doing it. It's not just some creepy woman. It's its own sort of thing. And as it gets to a close, we find out that the mother went nuts, the father went nuts and killed.
Here's something I want to say though. They were talking about because he's having all these therapies, and he said that how do you call it? I wrote it down what he was calling it. I was like, oh, the fuzzy trace memories, where your brain makes up these like complete stories. I've got a story like that happened to me. I was in a Walmart as a kid, and they had stacked the top shelves too high, and the stuff fell off the shelves and landed on top of me. Like it was like books and board games and all kinds of shit fell on me as a kid. And I swear that I watched it happen. Like, I can still picture it in my mind, it happening. Like, watching myself, it happened to me. Because my brother then said, like, don't break the ice. I feel like he stood, because I stood up, like, it all fell on me. I stood up. He was watching it all happen. And I stood up, and, like, a game of Don't Break the Ice came and fell on my head. I swear I can remember watching it happen. Like falling and hitting, but not, like, me being
from
like,
an outside
from
point
the third
of view.
person. Like I was watching it happen to myself. It's where it happened. So I was like, I have a true that's a true story. Like that's a real thing they're talking about.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so as the mirror starts to take over when they're children, the mother goes crazy and she thinks the dad's having an affair, and all the signs point to he is. And
with Marisol, bitch.
Which I assume was that woman in the mirror, or some creepy such thing. So the mother goes crazy. The father is long gone. He's just more subtle about it. And the mom starts chasing around the children, and she likes to choke a bitch. So what she does, she's always trying to choke somebody.
Well, she got choked the fuck out.
And it's just always the girl, the little girl.
Yeah, she's choking the little girl.
Well,
Her neck was like a magnet to her hands.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the kids, and that little girl just jumped right out that window.
She hurt her knee.
Yeah, but I mean,
she went down.
yeah. And how many times have I said I would jump right out the window, and she did it. I was
Finally,
like, yes.
It's like, yeah.
But she has to go back in to try to save her brother, and her mother, as she's trying to kill her, the father shoots her. Not so much because he's trying to prevent anything, but I think she was coming around and was not choking the girl anymore, so he shot her like 3 times and killed her.
Yeah.
After having locked her up in the room, and she
pulled out
all her teeth and stuff.
On a related note, though, that's why I'm having another kid. So in case I go crazy,
There's
Tegan
two.
yeah, they can help each
They
other.
They have a buddy system going on.
Or if Curtis is out, I don't know where he is. What does she freak out about?
Yeah.
I know where he says he is.
So then the father is trying to kill the little girl by holding her to the mirror, and the brother Tim, he hits him with a golf club and takes the gun, and the dad says, essentially kill me and get the fuck out of here.
He actually pulled the trigger for him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Also, I don't understand why they put him in pretty much jail for 20. So I mean, for
I don't think it was
years,
jail. I think he just needed serious
some sort of
rehabilitation because
he wasn't.
Well, and
violent.
nobody else could see all the crazy stuff that was happening, so it just looked like he shot his father.
Well, no, I think it was more of like a treatment thing because he'd watched his toothless mom try to strangle his sister and then shot his dad. I think he was just like it was more of a voluntary.
I don't know why they
thing.
didn't put the girl in as well.
Or
she jumped out the window. They're like, that was fucking smart jumping out the window.
I guess that was my only fault in this movie is that nobody saw what happened, so it would have just been those kids' story that they told the cops, and so why would they tell the cops a story that would basically put him in a home and her in foster care?
But here's the thing I thought about too. Okay, so they found the mom with all her teeth pulled out, eating plates, chained to a wall, all this crazy shit.
Well, no, because she had escaped.
Yeah, but she.
Well, but
the
I mean, like, there's
evidence.
the evidence is still there. Like, there's still a chain on the wall and probably a lock on her back.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the dad was doing all this crazy shit. And then now when the cops found him at the end of this one, and there all this shit happened, it seems totally plausible. Like, it looks like fucking insanity right in the family. They were all batshit crazy.
Well, the story that Tim had come to believe as he was cured was that his father was having an affair, which drove his mother crazy, and the two fought, and he shot his dad in order to save his sister. So like, as far as the police were concerned, that's what went down. Was the two parents were fighting, the dad killed the mom, and then the boy killed the dad. So I don't think he was in any sort of real trouble necessarily, other than he needed some therapy.
Yeah.
And he even said, like, the sister said they wouldn't let him see her, and he said that he had done that because he needed to work things out, and she was constantly reminding him of, keeping him from healing, supposedly. She went on to foster home, and then eventually just...
They have any family? That's sad.
I guess not. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if it seemed like it all made sense to me. I don't know.
In movie sense, you don't really delve too deep.
Yeah. So now that the kids have escaped, they go back to the end of the movie, essentially when they're adults and they're fighting the mirror, and the boy is convinced that he's got a clear shot to kill the mirror, while the sister is convinced that her mother is in the mirror, and walks right in front of it, and he hits the trap and just smashes her ass to the mirror. And
I kept waiting for that to be fake. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Oh, the mirror got you
No.
again. Wait a minute.
Well, as
Wait
soon
a
as
minute.
she actually killed her
Mirror.
boyfriend, I'm like, oh no.
yeah.
But she didn't, right?
she
She
did.
did.
She did. Yeah.
I gotta add that to the body count.
I like too at the end when his sister is smashed against the mirror. He doesn't try and like get her down or anything. He just gets real close to her face and yells her name over and over and
What was
over
her
again.
name?
Kaylee.
Pull it out, ass white.
Yeah.
What do you want?
But it was right through her neck.
Yeah,
there
I
wasn't.
mean,
There
I
wasn't.
You
Only
tried.
thing
Yeah.
holding her together at that point.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because she's, smushed up, and then you see her reflections like, ooh.
Yeah.
Her mouth is all pressed up. But yeah, that was a shocker of ending. I did not see that coming, honestly.
Now-
Because Abe's like, oh, I was kind of disappointed in the ending, and I was like, thinking, oh, not enough people died for Abe or something like
Not
that.
enough boobs.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, no, they killed her. No way.
The ending, the mirror just takes them all to a titty bar. No, I think when I first saw it, in a rare instance, I was rooting for the good guys. Normally, you're just like, let Freddy cut him up. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But in this movie, I was like, man, she had all this preparation. She had a noble cause. I really wanted to see her win, and she didn't. She got
No,
fucking
she
nailed.
lost her ass.
And her brother lost too, because he's going back to fucking jail.
They
or
He's
didn't
going to
psych ward or
jail,
whatever.
They
man.
showed like he did this, and it shows him
Oh,
like
the video
pressing the
just goes,
button and
whoop.
Oh.
getting there.
I got to tell you though, the second time watching it, I wasn't looking so much at the kids' perspective. I was looking at the mirror's perspective, and I was thinking, this ancient thing that's been killing forever and ever, they never had a chance.
Yeah.
They never had a chance.
No, it's
and
got
the
experience.
second she said, I'm gonna get this thing, and she hung it up in the house, it was fucking game over. And I have like infinite respect for this creature because it was just like, oh, you're gonna kill me, huh? Let's see how that works out for you.
Give me that dog. Wake me up.
It never spoke. It never had a body. It never had any sort
Never
of
moved.
But you knew it was a conscious thing who was feeding on people, and it was just amazing. They never had a chance.
Yeah.
It was a done deal as soon as they hung
They
that
did
shit up in
crack
the
it
house.
though.
They did.
They
Crack
never
it.
showed it crack, though. Like, how
Yeah,
did they
yeah,
crack
they
it?
did. When they shot the dad.
he fell back into
Oh,
the
I didn't see
And
that.
speaking of that, I thought for sure it seemed like it required some kind of sacrifice for this mirror to crack. That I thought for sure once his sister got impaled, it would at least crack it a little bit.
I think she
Yeah.
cushioned the blow.
Yeah, she took the whole thing.
She did great. She did it
Very,
back.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What a great movie.
It was good.
Yeah. It was
Very
cool.
well thought out.
Yeah. There was one question that I had, but I think they answered it later, which was, okay, so the mom's going batshit crazy, the dad's going crazy. The kids really weren't that affected.
They didn't look in the mirror though, did they?
They weren't around it all that
They
much,
weren't
and maybe
around
that
it.
was why. The dad even told them they were forbidden to go in there.
Yeah.
But, and they, after seeing what was going on, they didn't want to go in there. But later, towards the end, you could kind of see the little boy just staring off into space. So I think it was starting to get a hold of them.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's a good little attention to detail.
Mhm.
That's all for the synopsis. Unless anyone has anything else, we can move on to the terrifying trivia.
All right. The mirror was first documented from the WWE. It belonged to the Levesque family, aka Triple H's family.
Woo!
So now it's used as a prop in wrestling.
Oh.
Wait, so his real family? Or his W...
His like wrestling family.
Lavasque?
I thought he was
Levesque?
married to Stephanie McMahon.
Maybe it's...
I think they're talking about
Well,
his
isn't his
fake
name
character.
Paul Levesque or
I
something?
thought it was
No.
Hunter Hemsley.
Yeah, Hunter Hearst Helmsley
Yeah.
is what the Triple H stands for.
Things they add up. You tell me wrestling's fake.
All right. And then the only other thing, just that this was filmed in 24 days.
That's it?
Yeah.
Damn.
See,
That's not
but
even
then
a
that's
full
what
month.
the not low budget. How much was it? Was a pretty good budget, wasn't it?
I don't even know.
I bet it was a small
But think
budget.
about it,
I can check, yeah.
there was like 6 people in the movie.
Well,
Yeah.
it's nice that they don't stretch it out. Like, let's get in, let's get a good quality movie,
Yeah.
and let's get out. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's go right to the old Colby count there.
Okay. Only 4 bodies, 0 boots. I'm not disappointed at all. It was very well done. Each death
This
was
is
very...
a landmark episode.
Yeah.
I think.
Each
All on the same page.
death was done very well. Like, it was very suspenseful, very, like, I don't know, you really felt the deaths in this one. It wasn't just kind of like, oh, yeah, that guy got his head
Did
cut
you
off.
include the pictures of the dead people that she was
No,
showing?
I didn't. Just because, I don't know, unless you
We
watch
didn't see him die.
Okay.
Katie Sackhoff there for a minute was scantily clad.
Almost saw her boobs, which
And-
I'd have loved to.
And that was cool.
Because she's kind of got that thing where she's, like, not the traditional kind
She's
of pretty,
tomboy and
but she's pretty.
Mm-hmm. Have you got any special effects for us?
It's still funny.
I've got some special effects. There wasn't really...
I would like to say Matt has finally embraced our segment title.
We
Special
Only by
we broke
popular
him.
vote. I realize when I'm defeated. I'm assuming most of this was done practically. For the mirror shots, when they're doing, straight on mirror shots of people in the mirror, obviously there isn't a mirror there. They just built a room and framed it
I'm
in
going
a
to
frame.
interject
And then
right here.
digitally added the
Like
imperfections in the
Really?
glass that would be there.
I'm going to
That's how they
interject
could
right
like
here
hug
because
her
I think
daughters.
Yeah.
this plays into the special effects. The budget was $5 million.
Dang, that's it.
That's
pretty
funny.
cheap.
Everybody says that too. $5 million.
All right, that's a shit ton of money.
Well,
For a movie.
they consider in filmmaking anything under $1 million low budget.
Yeah.
So
Fucking
But
ridiculous.
every year you're still like $100,000, like, because no money went to the actors. No, I mean,
mhm.
Katie Sackhoff, people know her, but she's not pulling in huge amounts.
Yeah.
Are you gonna hit me? What'd you say about Rick?
Nope, just
Just letting you know what's up.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all a bunch of practical effects.
Even the light bulb scene was done really well because they didn't actually show her bite it,
No,
but you got the feel
You
of
just
it.
it
saw her
was the
biting and you
sound
heard
that was
the
menacing.
crunch.
The
Uh-huh.
pop of the
It-
light bulb.
Yeah. It was a lot like the original Chainsaw with the hook scene,
Yeah.
where everyone went, "Oh, it was so terrible," but they never showed it.
I watched an interview recently about or a documentary about movie violence, and they had Quentin Tarantino in it, so it wasn't like this is just like a story. It's a true story. Quentin Tarantino said it himself that they did 2 cuts of the ear scene in Reservoir Dogs, one where you actually watch the ear get cut off, and then one where it cut away. And everybody, like when they test showed it, everybody that saw the one where you didn't see his ear getting cut off, which I'm about was like, oh, that's ear scene is horrible, and they said the one where you did watch it get cut off, they're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. So yeah, it's
What
kind of like
you-
the off-screen thing makes it a lot worse.
What you imagine is
Yeah, it's
a
always,
million times worse. Than,
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a really good job with how they made the eyes look once they were kind of entranced by the mirror too.
That was really cool.
real simple but real creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And also on a technical note, special effects are practical done effects in camera, and visual effects are digitally created. Just so you know.
That's a good distinction. Good to know.
Special effects kick ass.
Yeah.
Is that all you got for that?
That is, yep.
Okay, let's go to the nefarious news.
All right, so I couldn't really find any legit stories about haunted mirrors. So I found a story about Annabelle, the haunted doll, which I understand is in The Conjuring as well.
So that was a real thing?
It's a real thing. They kind of
Okay, because I was gonna say, because I was wondering if all that shit was real, because that couple was real in The Conjuring, and they had like that trophy room with all the
They
possessed
have
stuff.
an actual occult museum you can go and pay, and
Ooh, really?
it's in
Meet
a,
your monsters real quick.
Can you
guys.
touch things?
Yeah. We'll get all
you
possessed.
cannot touch that. It says on the sign. It says like, "Dear Jesus, don't touch" or something like that. Not really,
Sweet
but
Jesus.
they really creeped her up for the movie. But the real life Annabelle doll is a Raggedy Ann doll, like a big ass Raggedy Ann doll. So, she was a doll that a woman named Donna got from her mother in 1970 for her birthday. She was a nursing student at the time, which might seem weird that she would give her grown daughter a doll, but then everybody at this table probably still has toys to this day. So I am 30 years old and I get presents from my parents that are childish in
Oh,
nature. So Donna lived with her roommate Angie, and just keep the doll. I think she just had it in the corner or something. Forgot about it. But they started to find Annabelle was in different positions. Like she'd have her legs straight, and she'd come home and they were crossed. Couldn't explain it. Angie hadn't touched it. Soon Annabelle started moving from the bedroom to, like, they'd find her on the couch. They thought that was pretty weird. They had a friend named Lou who friggin'... I'm sorry. I just picked up the stick really menacing.
I will at no point hit you.
Good to know.
They had a friend named Lou who just absolutely hated the doll, thought it was evil, knew it was evil. So then Annabelle's antics started getting weirder. They started finding little scraps of paper, and this is in the movie, apparently, that said, like,
she would leave notes.
Help me, or like,
And
help Lou was one of them.
were you not here for our Conjuring episode?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No, and I never
yeah.
saw it, but...
And then, like, it was, like, written in red crayon, and then, like, this one scene, they open the door, and it's, like, red crayon all over the walls and roof and stuff
really?
like that, yeah.
Well, that never happened in quote-unquote real life.
Yeah,
But,
so not much.
So things came to a head when the doll that came home and it had blood on its hands and its chest. So they called a medium, which is the first thing you do, and to see what's going on. The medium said that there's a little girl named Annabelle who used to play in the field where the apartment complex before they was built was, and she was found dead there. And the spirit stayed there. She liked the doll so much that she just latched onto it, and Annabelle asked the girls if she could stay with them. The girls, being nice nursing students, said, of course, yeah, you can stay with us. Like, wanted to take care of her. So that's when things went even more downhill. Shit got real. Lou began to have nightmares where Annabelle the doll would crawl up his legs while they were frozen. Like, well, not frozen, but he couldn't move them. And she'd start to choke him. And
Sounds
he'd
like
wake up
Lou
like a
might have been
pound.
a schizophrenic.
Yeah.
I'm picturing him as like a Guido.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fucking doll. It's all over my shit.
Bada bing, bada boom, she was choking me.
So he goes
She got
over
my
to
gold
their,
necklace.
then he goes over to their apartment later, which I just stay the heck away from there.
I can't believe a grown man was admitting to being this afraid of a goddamn doll.
It must be real then. That's what I'm thinking.
Or he was a sissy.
So they heard a noise in the bedroom. He went to check it out. There's nobody in the bedroom but Annabelle, and he started suddenly getting these pains in his chest. Claw marks appeared, and he started bleeding all over his shirt. And then they started to heal almost immediately, and then they disappeared within 2 days. Of course, they didn't get pictures of them.
It's weird too that a doll was able to claw him with its
Yeah.
claw
raggedy
fingers.
hands.
Wow, hold up. So they contacted a priest, and the priest puts them in contact with Ed and Lorraine Warren. So the Warrens told them it wasn't actually a child's ghost, that it was a demon who attached himself to a doll. Couldn't possess the doll because demons can't possess inanimate things. They can only possess people. So,
Do you think they could like attach themselves to like a spoon?
maybe.
Well,
Start
if
beating-
they can't attach themselves to a doll, then they wouldn't be able to attach themselves.
No,
to
they
a
can't.
Well,
they can't possess
They
a
can't.
doll.
They can't possess it. But they
God,
can
you'd be a
attach
shitty
themselves.
medium.
He was like, this is
You can't even keep track of
So-
possession and attaching.
Yeah.
The Warrens figured out that Donna really fucked up when she gave Annabelle permission because that to stay with him because that invited the demon in, and the demon was after Donna's soul. So
And demons just can't take souls. What do they got to do? Like barter for
it's
it?
a very complicated process.
It's a bureaucracy like any other business.
A lot of red tape and the soul gathering.
So the priest performed an exorcism on the apartment, and the Warrens took Annabelle home. On the way home, Annabelle was in the trunk. The car started stopping, stalling. Brakes weren't working. So he got out and flicked some holy water on her, and then it stopped till they got home.
So
and
let
then-
me get this
I
straight.
just want to. She's
It
sprayed
can-
like a cat.
It can manipulate cars, but it can only scratch a guy when he's sleeping.
Well, it was-
It can't just strangle him and take his
I don't
goddamn soul.
question demons' motives.
Lisa, I
That's how
think I
they got
mentioned
in
this
problem.
when we were doing the Conjuring episode. That I think like if Satan's real, he's just a shitty manager. He's just
I agree.
well, I can just go up there and like cut his throat and take his soul. He's like, did I say do that? No, go right on the
What
fucking
did I
wall.
tell you to
Help
do?
me. God damn it. And then you get back here and we're gonna shuck some corn or something.
So over the next couple of weeks, Annabelle started moving and levitating in front of Ed Warren, but they didn't get any proof of it, of course, because that's how they roll. They called in another priest who didn't take it very seriously.
My evidence would have been like, look at the shit stains on my underwear.
They're
That
unholy.
would hold up in court. They'd be like, please present evidence They just hold up some underwear and like, do we know?
You think a grown man would shit this much?
Exhibit BM.
it'd be your shit-stained drawers and my knee brace from jumping out the window.
So they called in another priest who didn't take it very seriously. He just kind of yelled at the doll and said, "You're a doll, you can't hurt anybody." So that pissed off the doll. That pissed off the demon. So on his way home, he got in a really bad accident, but he survived. And so the Warrens just decided the best thing to do would to be put him in a lock case. Put Annabelle in a lock case, and that is what they did. And to this day, it is at the Warren Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut.
Now, let me ask you guys something.
Wait, first, can I point this out? It can make a car stop and stall, but it can't unlock a goddamn glass case.
You know, I'm not going to say the words are bullshit. But I'm pretty sure they're bullshit.
Okay, picture this. The five of us go on a little road trip to see this Warren Museum.
Oh, I'd love to.
Okay, but okay, so we get in there, and you could, when no one's looking, open up this case. Would you do it?
Hell yeah.
So, no, you would not do it because people have done that, mocked it, made fun of it, and got in a car wreck on the way home.
I'll do it.
Died.
I'll do it right
This
now.
guy was making fun of it, slamming on the... Yeah, then you'd be dead on your little scooter, wouldn't you?
I'd just press my butt cheeks, give Annabelle a pressed hand.
But then they will ask you to leave.
I'm fine with that.
Now,
You don't mock the devil is real.
Yeah, well.
What
Now,
you are.
I remember there's a story, there's this, here in town, there's this house, it's like was supposed to be an old goat farm, and it's supposed to be haunted, all this bullshit, and like there's a story, an urban legend, they're like, these kids, arsonists, try to set off fire. Because this is a true story. There really was like a serial arsonist in Fort Collins for like a year and a half. He burned like 3 houses down. And everybody claims he tried to burn this house down and couldn't.
are they sure it wasn't just a fire crotch?
No, that's a
He might have been a fire crotch. But like everybody was like, oh, they could burn the house down. And I was like, I bet you right now, all of you, all the money you have in the bank, that I can go and set that house on fire right now. I don't believe any of that bullshit. There's no way. I'll take Annabelle home with me tonight.
You know, and then you'd be dead. The claw works anybody.
Now, I would have to say that. What about you, Kathleen? Would you open up that cake?
No.
I'm sorry.
Why risk
I doubt that it's true, but I don't want
Yeah.
even want to risk it. Why risk it?
I'm gonna err on the side of respect. And just be
Are
like,
you?
yeah, I would say.
Chloe shitting on her head.
You see pictures of me on the internet, like rubbing my balls on his face, like, oh, come on, Annabelle, scratch me.
I would say I don't believe it, but I'm not gonna attempt it. It's the same reason I don't gamble a lot. You know, I could win, but I'll probably lose my ass.
I'm not. Yeah.
But the thing about it is, like, I don't believe in that stuff, but I want it to be true because it'd be awesome. It'd be fun to watch. Like
I don't
a
want any
horror
of that
show.
stuff to be true.
Well, I told you guys.
I would love for there to be ghosts. That'd be awesome, but I just don't believe it.
I told you guys about the time I was camping and the bottle exploded because my dad was making fun of the devil. So I don't know that those things were related, but
I got a funny story about that. This house we lived in, we
Yeah,
were
scripture. I
What?
think you told that too.
What?
Where the thing fell down?
And my uncle?
Yeah.
No, this is a different story.
Okay.
Same house though. The guy who built it was really tall, so the cabinets were all really high, and my mom's very short, and she couldn't reach, and she was just like, "What a fucking idiot!" I can't remember, probably not what she exactly said, but something like that. And then she was like all pissed because she couldn't reach his pot, and then like she went to grab something, and you know that serrated edge on saran wrap boxes.
Mm-hmm.
She like, while she's reaching for something, that thing just went, and just like tore her arm up.
Yeah, because she was mocking the ghosts.
But I'll tell you, I've mocked so many ghosts in my life, and
Chloe,
nothing.
do you know the bad
I'm
things
good
that
to
are coming to you? Dude?
I have crashed on my scooter like 4 times. But you know,
Unrelated.
look at me, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Those were warning
And
shots.
the second time, no, it was the third time I crashed on my scooter. The final time I crashed, the fourth time. Final time I crashed on my scooter.
the most recent.
Yes.
Because it's probably not the
Be
final.
very
No,
careful
yes.
driving home tonight.
Please.
I really thought I was gonna die. Like I really thought, like, because I flipped over and like was sliding on
Do you
my
have a
head and my
helmet?
shoulders. Yeah, I have a helmet on, and I really thought, like, okay, this is the end. Like I'm dying, and then I was like, oh, cool, I'm all right. The lady behind me was freaked out. She got and she was like shaking. She was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, Yeah, I'm just embarrassed.
Did you mock any ghosts lately?
It's like, it's funny you should bring it up, because I did rub my balls on a haunted doll.
That'll be a T-shirt somewhere. I rubbed my balls on a haunted doll. And just a picture of Annabelle getting teabagged.
There,
Picture me just...
She got a frowny fly instead of a
Picture me just farting in the case and then locking it really fast.
It's like all clouded inside.
Somebody comes the next day and she's all like trying to open it.
Yeah, but I'd have to go Agent Mulder on that one. Just say, I want to believe. I'm going to leave it alone.
Yeah.
Set it for the.
That is it.
That's fascinating. Especially, I'm glad you told that story. Being that now they're going to make a movie of that, it'll be interesting to see.
It's the same doll though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't. It doesn't.
It's
seem
like the origin story, and it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you noticed that trailer. That looked pretty creepy.
Colby, it's time for the critical critique.
Yes. Okay, here it is. It's from James Vernier from the Boston Herald. The entire review is Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, who is the dumbest mirror movie of all?
Your mom.
Should have remained as short. Fuck you.
How many mirror movies has this guy seen?
7.
Yeah. I wonder what he considers the best
There you
mirror
go.
movie.
Sleeping Beauty.
There was a,
Or Snow White, right?
there was a
Yeah.
French
You
film
better
called
answer
Les Miroirs, and if you'd watched that, if you'd been to Prague,
Did
you'd
it start as
understand.
a short, or was it just saying
Miserables.
it should be a short?
He said it should have remained as short, so I don't know.
Huh.
So maybe it was
Okay,
a short
kiss
story that
my
was
ass. I
adapted.
thought it was great.
And it's funny that he doesn't give any sort of,
Reason?
You know how I feel about this movie is, this is my this guy's review, this is going to be one of those subtle movies that inspires a bunch of movies coming up. I feel like somebody's going to see this movie and be like, God damn, that's a really good idea, and they're going to modify it, and you're going to see a lot of horror movies being like this in the future.
What do you guys think about a sequel? Would you like to see it?
Not really, no. I think it's
No.
Or
perfect
you
the way
think
it
it's
is.
good?
I'd be on the fence.
I like how everything's kind of up in the air now, and I think that's, I don't know. As disappointing as it was to not see a conclusion, I kind of like it. You know?
I don't want to.
Yeah. I'd rather not. That's what I'm saying.
Because what would it be? Just the continuing adventures of the mirror? Like, because he'd be in jail, or would he like escape? I don't want to see him anymore. If we had to have a sequel,
Do you think it'd be like Alien and Aliens? Like it'd go from a horror movie to being an action adventure?
ooh,
Somebody gets sucked into the mirror and they have to whoop ghost ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fight their way back out.
get
Yeah.
away from her, you bitch.
Yeah. Or all of the victims in the mirror are the expendable cast. Randy Couture's like throwing fists at you.
Ronda Rousey's gonna armbar the mirror.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Oh, we didn't talk about the wrestling moves. There were no real wrestling moves, but there's a chokehold and a tap out, right?
No.
Yeah.
That wasn't a chokehold. She just, I don't know, she gave up.
He did choke her out, but
Very poorly executed.
yeah, it wouldn't have worked all that well in real life.
So no wrestling.
So what was that guy's name? The
James Vernier.
fuck that guy.
Fuck that
I'm gonna
guy.
say. That's stupid.
Dickhead.
That's a shitty review. It is now time for the themes and tropes.
This one was fun. There weren't really that many tropes.
And that's good for a horror
Yeah,
movie.
it is really good.
Yeah.
Except for horror movies are kind of weird because they seem to be the most forward-thinking when it comes to strong female protagonists.
Thank you.
Very forward-thinking.
I've been saying that shit forever.
They're on both sides of the
They
fence.
did what
They're
now?
playing both sides.
well,
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't hear what he said. What he said?
Ripley, you know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and everyone
his
always.
sister at Halloween.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Jamie
The
Lee
girl in
Curtis.
Friday the 13th, she
Oh.
ended up killing Jason's mom in the original
Yeah.
Yeah.
with a
Oh.
paper cutter, wasn't it?
All the Scream Queens were. I think she had a machete.
Oh.
But all the Scream Queens were eventually winning. I mean, they all ended up
Yeah.
not
Neve
showing their
Campbell
boobs and
and
killing the monsters. yeah.
Scream. She kicked this Scream guy's ass 4 times in a row, or 3 times.
I felt like this movie, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about with sequels, but it kind of pulls from Japanese horror films in that it doesn't really give you a lot of answers. You're kind of left to speculate, and they kind of ruin that with American remakes like The Ring. They actually give you an explanation for why the videotape kills people.
And it
Yeah.
sucked.
The Japanese version They don't really care. They just like, yeah, things happen and it's shitty, but...
Which I think it makes it scarier. Because, like,
Yeah.
if you figure out why it happens, there's a way to avoid it. But
Yeah.
And, you know, the sequel would eventually just be like, okay, well, this is why things are happening.
It'd be a
Or it'd just be a
flashback,
continuation
or,
of a story we didn't really care about anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to know about Darth Vader as a kid.
No.
I want the mystery.
Yeah.
And I think you're right.
Well, we
Yeah.
know that now. Hindsight's
You should
20.
listen to Patton Oswalt's rant about that. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I saw that episode of, what was it, Parks and Recs.
Parkinson.
It was
It was a
filibuster.
different one, though.
Oh, he's got a different one?
He's like pretending to talk to George Lucas about like their prequels and stuff.
Oh.
It's like, you know how you like Darth Vader and all? It's like, yeah, I love fucking Darth Vader. Well, this is gonna be when he's a kid. And he's
Oh, I
like,
heard that, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like, and you know how you like Boba Fett? Yeah, I love fucking Boba Fett. Well, now I'm gonna show him when he was a kid.
And yeah, towards the end of it, he goes, "You like Angelina Jolie? Think she's hot? Well, here's John Voight's balls."
You like those? I guess one trope that horror movies aren't afraid to do is that they kill the main cast.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in
It's
any
very
other
sad, but
Oh,
It
it's
happens.
so
After the Blair Witch
it's
Project.
so ballsy though. Like I
Mm.
like it when you're not expecting it. You're like, wow. Well, especially when you come to care for those people.
yeah.
And do you think that started with Psycho?
Didn't she die
I think
halfway
he
through?
was definitely the progenitor of that.
Yeah, because he was like, we're going to have a big star, and we're going to kill her.
Did you know that Matt is also a southpaw?
Cursed lefty.
I will die before you all.
They consider that the hand of the devil, yeah.
I knew it.
Why don't you mock that, Colby?
Yeah.
Let me rub my balls on your
come-
hand.
Balls on us.
She said it with a deadpan face.
And the screenwriters for this movie must have read Nietzsche, because there's this quote, and it's a famous quote from his book that we've all heard in some fashion or another. But and actually referenced it in Ghost in
Go
the Shell
big or
too.
go home?
Yeah, go big or go home.
Heard
It
that one
goes, yeah, it goes. Who can gaze into the mirror without becoming evil? The mirror does not reflect evil, but creates it. And this is based on the Nietzsche quote: "He who fights with monsters should be careful lest he therefore become a monster.
Is that Nietzsche?
And if thou gaze long into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back."
I thought,
into
well, I
you.
thought Mark
That's a
Twain
fucking
said
badass.
that. I thought Mark Twain was a take
No,
care.
he said
who
that
was
everything
thousand.
gets to Cincinnati 10 years after he gets here.
Yeah, but doesn't that?
I
Yeah.
thought Twain was the one that said that take care when he does battle with monsters. I thought that was Mark Twain.
Well, he just read you the whole...
It's right here.
Are you thinking of Pacific Rim?
You're right, though. That does encapsulate the whole movie.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And then he kind of goes on to, you know, saying, like, when we see a distorted face in the mirror, it's not the mirror that is distorted. The mirror reflects perfectly. It is your mind and eyes that distort the image.
You know, there's so many times where I'll be, like, looking in the mirror and like, you know, oh, I got a pimp or something like that. And I'm like, life would be pretty cool if we didn't have mirrors. We'd all look like
Yeah.
shit. So
Yeah.
we'd
In The
go
Giver,
groom
they don't have
ourselves,
mirrors, right?
They look pretty in the trailer.
but- Yeah.
Yeah, right. Of course.
We'd have to groom each other. That would be terrible for me. I don't know shit about makeup and stuff. Kathleen asked me once for Halloween to, like, put some makeup on her, or, like, some stuff makeup. And me, you know, I paint a little, so I thought I knew what I was doing. But makeup is way different. And so she was just gray.
I was like, great.
I was like, oh, that sucks. I was trying to do some fancy stuff, and it just turned into a big gray mask.
Just outlining her eyebrows with lipstick.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about it being a paralleled story. Some could say it was a mirrored story.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And, you know, there's a lot of symmetry within the sets and stuff. You know, everything was very symmetrical. And I really
was,
thought
wasn't it,
I
son of a
thought
bitch?
there was going to be a big twist with the set, because in the room where the mirror is located, there's these double doors, and straight across from that room is another set of identical double doors. I thought at one point they were going to open up those other double doors, and that was going to be where the real mirror was, and the mirror was just projecting whatever into the other room. But that didn't happen, but it was still amazing anyway.
Part 2.
Yeah.
And then another... What's going on, Colby?
Colby's gonna take a
The
mad
fucking
wazzer.
the czar of the goddamn
Oh.
podcast.
Sorry, I
No,
just
fine,
love
go,
the movie.
go.
Let the man finish
Keep
his
going.
bit. Jeez.
I have one more
I was
thing.
gonna sneak out silently. I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Wait, do you have to pee? Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about? Because I still have that quote thing.
Yeah, we got a ways to go still.
I'll pause it after this segment.
Yeah, you pause it.
Just go. I don't want to hold everybody up. Just go.
Well, what if you have something to say?
Well, no,
Colby doesn't have anything
I've
to
got
say for once.
I was going to
That's never
sneak out and
happened.
Hey,
come
wait.
back.
It's gonna go like this. You finish the segment, push pause. We'll all go take a dump or whatever. Come back.
How many bathrooms you got in this place?
4.
Really?
There's 4.
Is
Are you counting the backyard?
Holy shit! You have 4 bathrooms.
Yeah.
Where's
Matt.
the other 2?
There's
Matt and I will split one.
There's-
The other ones.
there's one right there, one in our bedroom, one in the downstairs, and one right there.
Oh my god.
So that one's mine.
It's living.
Let me tell you.
Colby
Like, I
wisely
wish our
took the
laundry
most
room had
comfortable
one in it.
Yeah, if our laundry room had a bathroom.
And I actually need your help with this one anyway, Colby. God, so just
See?
sit
Eh?
your pants in the seat.
That's what I'm saying.
It sure has plastic on it.
So what were some of the terms that he was using when he was explaining his own illnesses?
Who's
do you
that?
rem- the
Oh, he
Like the
would.
fuzziness
The only one I
memories?
remember was fuzzy trace memory.
kid? I thought that was really clever because he reflected back on himself through that therapy in a way that he was right all along, but he reflected all that therapy back onto himself to where it backfired, and the delusions they said he was already having weren't happening until they told him he was having the delusions.
That's fascinating because he
He was describing everything that was happening to him.
that is kind of tricky.
Yeah.
He was describing what really happened, but then what was pressed into him was a lie.
Yeah, they used the techniques that he said that he used on himself. They used on him to make him believe that he was wrong the whole time.
When in fact he was right.
Yeah, I thought that was really clever,
Yeah.
and that's all I've got. You now have my permission to pee.
Okay, and now for the pieces and parts segment, who had a favorite scene?
I feel like we talked about all my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
The biting the
Light
light
bulb.
bulb.
Yeah.
Ooh, I
It's
liked
just brilliant.
the part where it's getting to climax time. He just killed his wife, and all the previous victims in the mirror start showing up, and they're all looking down at her, and that was just really cool. All the ghosties are all together. That was pretty.
I like when the dog ran away. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Go, buddy.
He made it.
Yeah.
And some of the little fake outs, like when you realize she was just standing like in front of the mirror and the timer was about to go off. You're like, oh no, move!
Yeah.
That was pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the part at the end when they showed the kid, and as he's being hauled off in the cop car, he sees his parents through the window, and they both have the eyes, the dead eyes. And then it cuts right to him seeing the exact same thing in the future, but it's the mom and the dad and the sister, and they're all just staring at him like, you fuck.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's where I took issue. They wouldn't put a kid in handcuffs in the back seat.
He wasn't in as a kid. He
wasn't?
He was in the handcuffs.
Or was that like him projecting himself as a little kid being thrown? Because I swore they put the little kid
His
in the
hands
back.
were behind his back.
Yeah.
Oh, were they?
Uh-huh.
I didn't.
like-
I thought he was like wailing and they were dragging him out.
Yeah, I
yeah,
thought
but then they
were
like
just
had
saying
little
that.
handcuffs on him.
I thought that they put the handcuffs on him as an adult,
Okay.
but I could be wrong. It's
He didn't put him like little kitty handcuffs with
Yes.
googly eyes on him and stuff.
They're fuzzy.
Yeah, and I also I think the exposition scene at the beginning was still the best part of the movie
really
you
good.
She was just bam,
You
bam,
see
bam. Like
not
go
only
through-
not only do you get the history of what this thing was, but it's also her amazing trap. Like, she really had her shit together.
Mm-hmm.
She
And
was ready to fight this thing.
and
She never had a
every-
chance.
Every story, I was like, oh, that was awesome. Oh, that was awesome.
We
Oh,
never
that was
mentioned
awesome.
what happened to the woman with the hammer. That was fucking terrible.
Yeah, she smashed
Yeah.
every other part of her body
Yeah,
except
just
her right
forced to
arm.
take a hammer and smash your own bones.
And when they
amazing.
found her, she was working on her skull.
Yeah,
Oh.
amazing. Yeah, it was great. Great story. Quetzalcoatl, did anybody get a quote? This is a hard one for quotes,
Yeah.
I think.
I got a quote.
Wasn't much to quote.
You got one?
Ha!
Yeah.
When she,
Yeah.
when she
Static.
yeah. When she realized that it was messing with him, the mirror was real. Ah, I told you.
Yeah, mine is along the same lines. It was just her plucky can-do attitude that she had the whole time, or at least for the whole
Okay.
first half of the movie.
I got one. When that alarm went off and she handed him the bottle of water, she goes, hydrate. Like the Terminator or something.
Static.
Static. That was great. The phone lines are fine. Static.
Okay, my favorite was after they find out that the mom is toothless and chained up like a dog in the dad's room, and the dad finally takes him into the office with the mirror, and you can tell that, you know, as far as he's concerned, their fucking time's up. And he says, "You guys can hang out in here and play video games." He's just got that dead look, like, you know, okay. He's got sort of a Jack Torrance thing going on here.
He could be like a cool, loving dad, like, and then a really gross, like, yeah,
Here's
you're
it.
gonna murder me, dad.
They
you know?
didn't show a whole lot of him, even in the beginning, as being very affectionate.
And I think, yeah, that works for that. Because, like you said, he's got a Jack Torrance thing going on. Like, you're like, I like my kid, yeah.
He was kind of
But then
affectionate. He
Oh,
kissed her
oh.
C-section scar.
Yeah,
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 but-
called him
But not
princess.
towards
and-
his kids.
Yeah,
Princess.
I'm saying, like, there, you got a hint of it, but I never at any point in the movie was like, oh, he used to be such a good guy. I was always just like, that guy's fucked up.
Yeah. 'Cause I looked at Jack Nixon and said, yeah, he'll go crazy.
I had
That
a
is right.
problem with one scene, speaking of the video games. So 11 years ago, it was in 2003, that 11 years prior would have been 2002, and they were playing Sega Game Gears, and I didn't know anybody that had a Sega Game Gear past 1997.
They spent all their money on that sweet ass house and that mirror,
yeah,
so they had no.
At that point, they had that Game Boy that flipped up. I'm trying to remember, what was it called? The DS? No, DS is the... I can't remember what that one was called. Was that the Game Boy Advance?
No, the
that
advanced
was...
one is the color.
Yeah.
I still have that one upstairs.
I got one of those.
Dr. Mario.
Yeah, so not buying it. No, it's Sega Game Gear. Sucked
The one
You
flaw
know,
Oculus.
that kind of just ruins the whole movie, don't you think?
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly,
Game Gear?
I'm
Yeah.
like, how could she have figured out how to use this computer? She stopped playing a Sega goddamn Game Gear.
Yeah. I take it up.
Yeah.
Shut this microphone off.
We're done.
Hi.
Do you want to do the quote thing?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you guys want to say that or?
What's the...
Quote.
It was
yeah.
out of context quotes from the podcast.
Oh,
Bless
Oh
you.
God, and Kathleen is gonna die.
We'll edit it out in post.
No, you won't.
Were you guys interested in it? Or
Yeah,
were you
yeah,
Oh,
guys-
yeah,
okay, cool.
definitely.
All right, so I've just been listening to all the episodes that I haven't been on. So I've got a lot of quotes. I want to see if you guys can guess one who said it and in what context or what episode it was about. So first one is this house dick safe? All right.
I have
Sounds
no
like something
idea.
Colby would say.
Yeah.
This house dick safe?
It's Colby.
Conjuring?
What was I talking about?
It was from the feast episode where I
Oh,
don't remember how.
I remember now because the monster walked through the door with his dick out. And his dick got chopped out. So he was talking about, you know, if it's safe to walk around with your dick.
Okay.
That was a good
All
one.
right, next one. I've thrown around a sweet tits every now and then, but I've never dropped a sausage dick.
That was me. And that was from Brain Scan.
Brain Scan,
Yeah.
Usually don't go to Mardi Gras to see wieners. Guys hate beads.
I think that was
Matt?
Colby.
That's
was it?
Kathleen.
Oh.
Who would say that?
It's true though. I've never worn beads.
Well.
All right, let's see.
Though I have showed my boobs to strangers.
All right.
I've known you for how long? I've never seen your boobs. You show them to strangers.
Keep it that way.
That's so selfish.
All right, this is a two-part. Two people are involved in this. Nobody stumbles into a prostitute. Well, maybe the next morning.
I think that was me.
And Matt?
That's your- I don't remember what.
I don't remember what context
Oh, I think
that
it was maybe
Yeah.
like turning people
You-
bad.
You said nobody stumbles into a prostitute, right? And then I
Yeah.
said that maybe next morning. But I don't remember what movie we were watching or talking
Yeah.
about.
Oh, it was Brain Scan.
Brain Scan.
But I don't remember why. I doubt it was for the movie. Right? They don't measure girth on IMDb.
I have no idea.
That was Colby,
Yeah.
and they were. You guys were talking about Derek Mears? No. Kane Hodder.
Oh, okay.
And how he was shorter than the guy.
But way wider.
Yeah, but way wider. Talk about Hatchet. If you're creative, a bag of dicks could be a good time.
Again, Colby.
As a
No?
Really?
and
Was that when I was talking about slinging guts?
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you could
Yeah.
sling
Something about a
the
bag of dicks. Or
cat
something.
guts, so we'd go dick slinging. Yeah.
All right. So, I'm just not going to donate money to people who push over flowers. All right.
I have no idea.
That was Matt talking about he didn't want to donate to the Pushing Daisies Kickstarter.
You give them
Yeah,
that
out
money,
of
man.
context, that sounds like the ramblings of an insane person.
Alright. What's this? It's the hair that misleads everyone. Sane ones comb their hair. And that was Kathleen talking about mad scientists. Alright, and the last one is I think sometimes boobies are kind of like socks in a dryer. Sometimes you only see one and you wonder, where's the other one?
I don't know. Who said that.
That was Matt. Trick or treat.
Boobs are like socks in a dryer.
I thought that was very poignant and beautiful.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just like, well,
Is that a haiku?
That was fun. That was a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so keep them up. Keep it up, guys. The one problem is Kathleen is always staying on point. It's really hard to get her to
Out of
say something out of
context.
She
context.
has laser focus.
Yeah, laser focus.
It's crazy.
Yet multitasking every time.
How does she?
She's already drawn 3 pictures, probably photoshopped my head onto something.
okay.
Well, once again, that is the end of Meet Your Monsters for this week. Next week's movie will be Phantasm 2. Watch it, come back. Oh, and check out our Facebook page and write stuff to us.
And
Yeah.
YouTube.
And YouTube.
Comment.
We like hearing things from people.
Yeah.
Random
Poppy,
people.
I know you like the YouTubes.
Yeah.
We also like boobs, just saying. Throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Big fans of boobs here.
Where are they gonna send it?
Do with that what you will.
Post
We're gonna get a
Just
Gmail.
send put it on Facebook, post our wall, we'll screen capture it on our phones, and then they'll get reported and we'll get taken off there.
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
We'll get a
We haven't
website
worked this
soon.
out.
a blog.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
all right.
That's
All
fine.
right,
Thank
All
you.
thanks.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Snap out of it!
We were just kids.